Hi everyone, Emma here. I'm going to show you how to bezel one of these teardrops crystals that we got from Beebeecraft. So this is what we're going to complete with it. Um, Let me just talk about the item for a second here. So it came in this container. Now it has a sponge that goes with it, and then it had all of them mixed in. I did go through and sort them because that's what I do. If you're a beader like me, you don't like them getting all commingled. So there's 6 pieces of each color. So I did find with this one here, I made a bit of an oopsie. I was doing it for my wrist, which is under 6 inches. And I have a very long clasp that suits it. So if you take a look, it may actually be tight now that I think of it. So I would suggest if you're doing something like this, there's a couple of things you can do. I did do a different color, and I'm going to do this one in another video. So this is the green color. Let me enlarge this for a sec and show you. So I think this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them lengthwise instead of, so let's see, I'll put it right to the edge. It gives it a little bit more, and then there's going to be pearls on each side. But then the other thing is you might want to combine some colors, or you can make your transition from each crystal a little bit bigger. So you could maybe do a right angle weave of your pearl and just decorate it somehow, and then add the other. So I might do that with this one, because I do kind of like the height of it, and you can see I've added a little accent at the top and the bottom to kind of a nod to the teardrop shape, because once you bezel it, you don't actually see which side is the teardrop. So we would have liked to incorporate this to really identify the teardrop, but then I came up with was wondering how you could incorporate that into a bracelet. So if you have any ideas, let me know. I don't know, maybe putting them on an angle together like this and then another set. I don't know. Or maybe crisscrossing them. So let's grab some of these. Maybe do it something like this. So who knows? Who knows? Let's get started. Let's complete this. So I was super excited. I grabbed the brightest color I could find, and I thought, okay, I'm going to just do something really crazy with it. And because the color is so intense, I thought I'd mute it with these Superduos. That is a Pearl Coat Snow, it's called. And these are the Superduos I used. 2mm size. They are lovely. So we're going to use those. Let's put those out. And I have these cotton pearls. These are from Beebeecraft, from one of the previous unboxings, and it was $15, I think, for 100 of 6mm. You can use whatever you have. But I'll tell you, these cotton pearls are incredible. So if you're not familiar with cotton pearls, you should go back and take a look at the previous Beebeecraft unboxing, and I have the bracelet here. We did another bracelet with it, this one here, and you can see how incredible it brings up these crystals. It just gives it an amazing elegance. So that was one of the ones. You should take a look at that. And then, so I just brought out, I'm using the Superduo technique for these large rectangular crystals that I got from Beebeecraft. So we seem to be, into a theme with Beebeecraft crystals. Now they're from different companies, but that's them. So, and then this is the blue color that I used. So I'll be showing you that in a different video. Hopefully I'll figure out the plan. The other thing you can do with this is you can create a necklace. So you can put a smaller pearl here, like maybe a 4mm pearl on the top, or maybe, you know, some Superduos on the top, and then it will give it a bit of an arch like this, and then put beads for the rest of the way and create a necklace. So you can do that too. The other part to this is you can do it this way exactly, but then when you get to the end is put more pearls. So then that will be at the clasp section. And yeah, I just had a bit of I got all excited. I'm like, let me do this. And then I realized, oh shoot, it's not long enough. So there you go. It's for a very tiny bracelet, and okay, so I was gonna say it was for a tiny Barbie bracelet, but what does this look like? These colors? Does this not look like the Barbie colors? So there's a lot of talk right now with the Barbie movie coming out, and I wanted to call this the Barbie Beebeecraft bracelet, but there might be some what do you call it, copyright infringement, so I didn't want to call it the Barbie bracelet. So shh. But you know what it is. So let's that's enough of that silliness. So let's put these away. And I have these out. So we have our final crystal we're going to put in. I'm using size 6 thread, and this is fine. Like, you can use whatever thread you want to use. This is a crystal color, so you can't see it. Now, in the clasp, you can. And I just have to say, if I had to, and actually, I may end up taking this off. I'll tell you why, because I didn't realize when I picked this clasp, I think it's the clasp that suited it the most, but when I picked it, I didn't realize where the holes were in the in this part here, and it doesn't have any holes. This one looks like it does. Okay, so it doesn't have any holes in the tip up here on this one, and that's what I would have liked this pearl to attach to that. So that's why I have it going into the side. So I think I would probably put maybe a Superduo in there or some 15-0s, whatever to, but I mean, it's not too bad as it is. So let's move on. So for the Superduos, you're going to need 12 for each crystal. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. You know, when you've been beading a long time, I don't know, you tell me if you get this. I find that I'll say, oh, I need this many, and I'll pour some out and it's exactly the amount. Now, of course, you do that all day, the odds are you're gonna land on some that are the correct amount. The other thing I wanted to point out, because we're getting ready to put out some 8-0 beads, is I started out with these 8-0 beads here, but I didn't particularly like them. They were just plain, and that's these ones here. So these are a size 8. So you'll need a size 8 of whatever bead you're going to use that go in between these two Superduos. You can see them here and here. So they're nice. I mean, you don't notice it, but you know, I'm so about the bling. So what I ended up doing, I couldn't decide because I think it should all be white because there's so much pink. But then I was like, oh, these are pretty with these. They almost look like a flower petal situation. So I decided to go half and half. So I did one with the white, one with the pink, one with the white. So we get to do the one with the pink. Put those there. And you only need, I think it's 2, 4, 6 of the 8-0s for each. Definitely too many there. And you got your 4 pearls, 2 to go to attach your next element, and then 2 to add your crystal. You're going to need some 11O seed beads, and I'm using, these are Ceylon Pearl Miyuki 11Os. And these are, I have a bunch of different pearl color 11Os. I think these are the prettiest. They're very like opaque. Some of the other ones are kind of clear through the middle. You need your scissors and a needle. Now, you don't need a full wingspan to do each crystal, but since I was doing the bunch, I would do a full wingspan. I could probably do 3 on one wingspan. The other thing is, because I'm using a full wingspan right now, because we're going to do this and we're not going to like cut our thread and tie off. We're going to go directly and add it to the bracelet, and then we're going to add the clasp. So this is a bit of a longer video, but hopefully the funny part is the bezeling of the crystal is the fastest part of this whole thing. So let's get started. So you're going to start by taking an 11O and then 2 Superduos, and you do that for the rest. So 11O, 2 Superduos. I should mention too, I'm using a size 12 bendy beading needle. And I say that because I actually broke 2 needles putting this together, and the only reason that happened is because I like to keep everything nice and tight, especially with bezeling. So when you bezel the Superduos, the first section can be tight, but definitely on the second section, don't put it so tight, because I had a hard time getting through to attach things and I broke needles going through, so you might hurt yourself if the needle snaps or if it flings in your eye. Okay, so we need an 11O, 2 Superduos, 11O, 2 Superduos, 11O, 2 Superduos, and 11O and 2 Superduos. Okay, so I'll show you what we have. Like that. So your 2 Superduos, 11O, 2, 11O, 2 Superduos, 11O, 2 Superduos, 11O, 2 Superduos, 11O. And just make sure, yep, that's right. So we're going to take this down near the end, and we're going to tie this into a circle to start our bezel. So whatever length of tail you need to tie with is all you need. So just bring that around. I'm going to do it this way. Like that. And I'm going to put 3 knots in it. You do whatever works for you. Something like that. And just be careful with this section, because you've got a little 11O there. Sometimes your knotting will jump over that 11O and actually knot it across. Not a big deal, but you might see the strand of thread. So here's my third one. And that down. There, nice and tight. And we're going to cut that off, cut that tail off. That. You can hide that little tail inside one of your beads here. I'm just going to get that little piece. Let's enlarge this. Get this little piece rounded, this frayed knot part, like that. Push it in there, there. So now I am gonna go through the 11-0 and through the 2 first Superduos. So here's this spot where you get these, they're not quite on the right angle, so you might have to do them separately. Go through here, pull it through. Now you're going to step up, so you're coming from the lower hole to the upper hole, like this. Bring that through. Now I'm going to flip it so that I'm going in this direction. You can go the other direction, it's not a big deal. And let me just make sure everything's okay. So here's the thing to remember. You're going to put your 8-0 bead in between your Superduos all the time. So you're going to do a 8-0, then a 11-0. So let's grab our lovely pink 8-0. Her Barbie beads. Like that. So now I start off right away by creating the peak at the top and the bottom. So you're going to take 3 11-0s, that, and go through to the next Superduo. And you can leave it like that. We're going to come back around again, and we're going to go through just the 2 side ones to make sure this one stays sticking up. Although you don't have to, it's up to you. So let's get our 8-0. We got a closed hole. I always check, and this time I didn't. Let me see. I think it's just a piece of bead that's stuck there. Maybe not. Oh, got it. I'd be restarting the video. There's no way I want to bore you with restarting. So 11-0. Just keep an eye till you get to the other side that's directly across to create your peak, your second peak. And let me move these guys over here. So your 8-0 goes in between the 2 Superduos. So you can use this bezel design for any shape. You just have to add more. Now I'm just being careful. Some of these Miyukis are pretty tiny. There's your 11-0, like that. Then your 8-0. Okay, so now we are directly across. We're going to do our 3 11-0s. Create our little picot. Like that. Then an 8-0. Oops. And then an 11-0. Like that. I guess I counted out too many. There. So let's move these guys. We don't need them. And your last 11-0 here. So now we're going to go through the 8-0. We're going to go around again so we can make sure our little picots stay in place. So this is where you have to be careful not to make it too tight. And that's where I ran into problems. So just be conscious of it, that you're not tightening. Let's get in here to the Superduo, and let's go through the first 11-0. We're going to skip the second one, and you can go through the next couple of beads. There. And if your pearl or your 11-0 doesn't stick up, you can put your needle through like that and then pull that cord. Let's get up there. Pull your thread and it will get it tight. But you can see it's tight in this area. It's a bit rounded. So just be aware. I did find once I got this bendy needle, it was a lot easier. And just keep going through top holes and through your 11-0s and through your 8-0s to get to the second picot. Like that. There. So far it's still nice and loose. You're going to go through the Superduo and the first 11-0. You're going to skip the second 11-0 and go through the third. So go through the third and you can go through the next couple of beads. And let's get our needle in and pop that middle 11-0 where we want it. And just pull it and it gets nice and snug there. Like that. So that's what we have so far. It's lovely. I'm just going to go through a few more. I am going to, at this point, tie a knot in my thread and then go through a few beads and we'll start the bezel part. So I'm just going to create, like, go under the thread bridge. I'm going to do 2 twists and hold that down. Pull your thread through. Nice and tight there. The reason I'm doing that is so that I don't get this super tight. You can see it's nice and loose in there. And it's very counter to what you would think you need. I'm always tightening my bezels, but this one you want to keep loose. It will make it so much easier to work with. Okay, so I just went through the 11-0 Superduo and the 8-0. Now we are going to start adding the bezel that's going to hold everything in. So let me show you this back part here. So super easy. This is, if you're interested in bezeling, but struggle a bit like I did in the past with how to do the herringbone stitch and stuff like that, this is like so much nicer, quick. So you're going to pick up 5. When you're doing this type of bezeling, you're always picking up an uneven number because when we go to the next row, we're going to pick just the middle bead. So you need an uneven number for that to work. So there's your 5 11-0s. You're going from the 1-8-0 to the next 8-0. And we're just going to do that all the way around. So pick up 5 11-0s. There's 5. And you're coming out of this 8-0, you're going to go into the next 8-0. And you don't have to like pop it down like I'm doing, because once we get everything in there, we'll tighten it and it will get in the shape that we want it. So pick up 5 11-0s. That. From 1-8-0 to the next 8-0. Just continue that around. So we'll keep going here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I apologize, I have paint on my hand. I started painting again. I'm an artist. I do portraits of both dogs and people. And I've been busy beading, so I haven't been doing a lot of painting. So I have paintings that are in the middle of being done, so it's nice to finish them off. Okay, then through, this is the last 8-0, so we'll go through that. So this is what we should have. And don't worry, you can see threads and stuff. Once we tighten it up, it's going to all curl in and create a nice bezel. So now what you're going to do is you're going to go through your 11-0. The first one is different than the others. So you need to be in the position of the middle bead. So to do this on the first one, you're going to go through the first 3. Just like that. Pick up 3 11-0s. Then you're going to go to the next set, but you're just going to go through the middle bead. So the 3rd bead. And again, don't worry if it's loose, we're going to tighten it later. 1, 2, 3. Go through the 3rd of the next. That. Oh, I missed one. Did I? No, it's right there. Let's see here. There. Just tilt this a bit. Pick up 3 11-0s. Go through the next middle bead. Now you could tighten it prior to this, but I just find that it's you're struggling to tighten it all the time, like keep it tight. So you might as well just leave it and tighten it all at once. And I'll show you a trick to tighten the multiple rows, because that may be why you might have a little bit of a hard time and have thread showing. So just keep going. This should be our last, second to last. There's 3 coming out of that 3rd bead, going into the next 3rd. Yeah, this is the last one. Like that. So now you have everything in there. For this one here, now what you want to do is you want to go through your 3 beads and only your 3 beads. So we're going to go through this first set of 3 beads. We're going to put our crystal in and we're going to tighten it snug. And you'll see the magic begins. It's already starting to. So you can try to get your point into one of the, where the picots are. It's not a big deal. Once you got this all nice and tight, you can actually, and then you can see I'm pulling it. So just keep my finger on the crystal and pulling my thread, and it's nicely pulling it in. And you can kind of nudge it into place as well. So you see this moves around, so don't worry. It's easy to move it once the bezel is tight. So I'm going to get that in there. I'm just going to hang on to that thread. So now we're coming out of this set of 3 beads. We're going to go into the next set of 3. Skip that middle bead. And this needs to be on this side. There. So you see this is the bead that it initially snugged onto. We're going to skip that one and go through the next. So you're only going through the last 3 beads that we added. You're going to do that once or twice. And you can see it's like moving around again. No worries, it'll all, every time you tighten, look at that, it gets nice and tight again. So you can see you can keep tightening. It's not a big deal. Once you get it all in, it'll all tightened properly. So we're coming out of these 3 beads here. We're going to go into the next 3. Skip that middle one. Go through the next 3. There, like that. Coming out of these 3 here, and I'm just going to turn it this way. Skip that middle one. We're going to go through these 3 here. Like that. So this is like normally I go the other way, but just the way the thread is setting up. So let's get through them and then tighten them. And you can go through 2 sets, skip that middle one there, grab the next 3. Like that. So you've gone through 2 sets of 3, like that. So we should be, yeah, so we've gone around once. Let's get this. So now is where you want to pull and just kind of wiggle it with your fingers, these side pieces. Get it to the tightness that you want. So I think that's perfect, like that. Take a look. Yeah, everything looks good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a knot, and we're going to start adding this to the bracelet. So here we are here. Let's make sure it's nice and tight there. Okay, so I'm just going to go under here. Actually, doing a corner bead might not be a smart idea. Let's go past that. I'll tell you why, because we have one thread that's going through this middle one and one that's going above it. So it's not, you don't want to hook both those threads. So let's go through this one bead. There. That. So go under that, those 2 beads. Where am I here? Grab your thread, wrap it around your needle twice, pull it down, and bring your thread between those 2 beads. And that helps it stay in place because the thread wants to jump and it will get caught on the bead next to it. So I did find that this was causing a bit of looseness in here, but it's still, like, it's not going anywhere. So you can always go in there and tighten that, which is what I did in the others. But it's probably good to wait after you're attached it, so that you don't have any problems getting through your beads. So now I'm just going to go through the next beads. I'm going to go through that middle one because I want to come up to these side ones here. So we'll go through here. And I have a knot on my thread. Let me fix this. This happens. I fold over a lot just so that I can do it in the video. So you're not watching me pull thread all the time. So it does knot up, and it's not a big deal. It's just twisted. Okay. Nothing to see here. Moving right along. Okay, so let's go through these 2 beads here and through this 8/0. So now we're set up to start adding things. So that's in. Let's grab this guy. So let's take a look at where we've added things. So I'm just going to position it according to my thread. So my thread's coming out of this 8/0. So we want to add this to this. Now I added through this 11/0 here. So if you look, you've got your picot here, then your 2 Superduos, and in between that is an 11/0. That's the one you want attached to if you want this look here. So the pearl is up in this section. And I attached it through the 11/0. I initially started with the Superduos. They were so hard to get in there because the Superduo holes are almost on an angle. You can see how they angle down. So, but with a better needle like I have. So we're going to grab one of these 6mm or 6/0, yeah, 6mm cotton pearl. So we're just going to, we're not in the correct position here. So we're coming out of this 8/0. We need to be coming out of this 11/0. So go through the Superduo. If you can't get it through both the Superduo and the 11/0, just do them individually, but you can see how it was important that this was loose. It would have been very sticky. Your 6mm, you're going to go through this 11/0 here, like that. There. Now we're going to go back through the pearl. That. And don't worry if this is loose because we can tighten it once we've got it through. So the thread is coming through the bottom side of this 11/0. We want to go through the top side. So let's come around this way. See if we can get this in. Like that. And that just anchors it better. Like that. Go through your 6mm cotton pearl. And just watch your thread gets caught on things like that. There. Go through one more time. Go through the 11/0. Go through your 6mm pearl. And this is where we're going to tighten that, because now we're going to go to the bottom section and add the bottom pearl. So we're going to go from the top of the 11/0, and you can go through, actually we can go through all three. You're going to go through the 11/0, through the Superduo, through the 8/0. There. So it looks like it's sticking out to the side, but once we get that other one in, it will be perfectly, symmetrical, and it also tightens it. So now we need to go through the Superduo and the 11/0. Here's the thing, if you have problems coming out the bead that you want to, and it wants to go into the next bead, go ahead and go through, but then come back through that extra bead. You'll save yourself a lot of headaches. Trust me. I know. Not fun. So we are coming out of this 11/0 at the bottom. We put on our 6mm cotton pearl, and we're going to grab onto the 11/0 on the other side, on the previous component, like that. And see what it does, it cinches it in nicely. So now we're going to go through the pearl. Again, not a big deal if it's loose. We'll get it all snug. So now pay attention, your first thread is coming out through the bottom. So we want to go through the top of that 11-0. Do this. And get that tight. And we're going to go through one more time. So you can use other threads. I don't know if I mentioned that to you. This is just the one I use. It's cheaper than Fireline and Wildfire. So that's what I use. You could probably use Nymo. These are super strong threads. Let me see if I can tighten that. Nice. I like this really tight. Go through your cotton pearl. Now that it's tight, you kind of have to fiddle around to find the hole. So I'm coming through here. Now we're going to go around to the other side and we're going to attach the clasp. So go through the 11-0. Go through the Superduo and the 8-0. Now, when I was doing mine, it was super tight. So once I got through this 8-0, I went down through this and it gave me the opportunity. You can see these are a bit loose. It gave me the opportunity to tighten those. So let's try that. So go through the 3 this way. And then go through these 2 here. And through the 8-0. And just a little pull to tighten it a bit. And we're going to go through the Superduo and we're going to come out on the 11-0. And before we do that, let's check on the other side to make sure that's where I went through. No, so let's just, I knew there's, oh, I guess I did. Let me see. That one didn't go through, it went through the middle. So the 8-0. So we're going to use the 8-0 to attach the clasp. It's just because the clasp is different. Yeah. Let's test this first. This size. I'm almost tempted to add a few more pearls just on the one side. I know it's uneven, but I want to wear this. I want to wear my Barbie bracelet. But maybe there's somebody out there that needs a Barbie bracelet. That's the kind of stuff a parent would say. Oh, if you can't use your toys, then maybe. So we're going to go through this, get to there. So let's see what we can manage. This is where your needle's going to get tested. So it managed to go through all. Ta-da! Looking awesome. So let's go ahead and take this clasp, this piece off. And these are super duper. So I got these online. They're a bit harder to open, but once you use them a few times, they open a little better. But yeah, you can hear that's way too tight. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this and this. Ta-da! So we're going to start with attaching the clasp, and I like to put on the inside, I like to put seed beads so that if there's any give at all, the thread is moving over like a smooth bead rather than, you know, who knows, something could get cut there. It's not likely, but so we're going to go through the top hole here. So you can go straight through, but I'm going to go through the top this way, because I'm going to go through and I just took an 11-0 silver so that you can't even see it. So then go back down onto the other side. There's a hole there, like that, and pull. See how it sits nicely in there? And just pull that down like that. Go through that a few times. So everything's in position, so you should be able to just slide right through both holes on the clasp and the 11-0. But just turn it over if you can't see or get through it properly. Okay, so let's get that. Like that. So now we're going to go through one more time, but we're not going to come out that hole. So we're going to go through here, and we are going to go, oops. So go through that hole. Let's go through that one first. Because now what we want to do is we want to bring our thread through this top bar here. So you can see there's a hole there. So you can either go through this one or the other one, doesn't really matter. Let's go through this one. That. We're going to pick up our pearl. That. And we're going to go through this 11-0. Go through the Superduo and the 8-0. Like that. And it should position it properly. And right, just like that. Take a look. So you can see that thread, but it's up to you. You want to put some 50-0 beads there. Okay, so now we have to go through this again. Like that, through that hole. Now we want to take our thread down through this hole. So we are back here. We are going to go through this hole. We're going to add our second pearl. And we're going to go through this 11-0, through the Superduo, and through the, I don't think it'll go through that 8-0, so I have to do 2 steps here. Like that. Through the 8-0. And let's get everything snug, yeah. Go through that hole, the bottom, but come out the back. We're going to go through and one more time. So we're going to go from the back through that hole. It's on this little squiggly lip. Watch you don't cross over that thread. That seems to be there. Yep, like that. Through the pearl. And through the Superduo, and if you can get through your 8-0, that's even better. Yep. Just watch you don't scratch your pearl coming through. So this video is a collaboration with Beebeecraft, so I just want to take the opportunity to let you know a few things. All the items that I got in this collaboration are in the description. They also have a coupon code, Emma10, gives you 10% off your entire order, and orders over $25 are free shipping. And Also, I wanted to mention another Canadian asked me about paying duty, customs, I guess, and we I just okay, what am I missing here? Let's go through here. I have not had any issues with orders from Beebeecraft, and I've been ordering from them for probably about 3 years, and then doing the collaborations for about a year. So I don't anticipate any issues. It doesn't mean it could start. Definitely during COVID, there was a lot more customs charges on our packages, but it seems to have gotten back to normal. So yeah, so there's that. And they also offer this program to people. So what this is, so now we're going to go through and find a spot to tie off. So I'm going to go through this 11-0 or 8-0 and go to the back and start to find a path to tie off. It's easier to go through these 11-0 beads here. So I'm just going to go through here like that. Get nice and tight. And just go through this first one. So yeah, so this collaboration, I go through and shop, and then they send the items to me in exchange for doing a unboxing video and 2, crafty type videos, bead videos, and so that is available to people. I just want to mention that. So if you do YouTube videos, you should check it out. So thank you to Beebeecraft, and thank you guys for participating and hanging in there and watching me. So now I'm going to go through and do another knot here, and we will be done. I find doing these videos really inspires me, and there's a lot of videos or bracelets I want to make, but then sometimes I get overwhelmed, and I find with doing these videos, it's like an opportunity to play. First of all, you get to shop. That's always fun. And I also look for prices that are super cheap with a good value. So, 10 strands of beads and stuff like that. So you could do the same if you're on a bead budget, like a lot of us are. Then you can say, oh, okay, I'm only going to spend this much a month. And I know some people do the bead boxes. I like to pick the stuff myself. I don't want somebody else picking it for me. So, haha. Let's take a look. Let's move this over. So yeah, this is a bit small. You do need to add, maybe do 4 beads in the middle and 4 to the next, and that would just extend it enough. But you can see it's my new Barbie bracelet. There you go. Thanks for joining me, and don't forget the coupon codes in the description and all the information you need about the products and direct links to them. Take care, everybody, and have fun beading. Bye.